Welcome to the Live Your Adventure podcast, a place for stories, ideas, and conversations that challenge you to live with intention and create an adventure that's truly your own. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Live Your Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hand. Today I'm here with my wife, Amy. Otherwise, she's oftentimes known as Miss Amy. So
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Good to be here.
Cool. So season 1 of the podcast is titled Choosing Your Adventure. Last week we talked about what does adventure mean to you? Really talking about how do we define adventure? How do we figure out what's right for us and move forward from there? Today's conversation is really about who do you pursue adventure with? Oh yeah, adventure sometimes could be by yourself, but in this discussion we're going to really focus on who you choose. It might be a friend, it might be a spouse, a loved one, it might be your whole family, and it could be sometimes total strangers that you find yourselves on adventures with. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. But before we get going, Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit of background about you, maybe even where we're here today.
Sure.
It's an interesting story.
Yeah. So we are in my kitchen, or our kitchen, and I have been in this kitchen since I was a little girl. This was my great-grandparents' farm, and then my grandmother, and the table that we are sitting around is the table that we played cards and shelled peas and canned and all sorts of stuff like that. So lots of memories everywhere that we look around the farmhouse. And it's been in my family for 104 years now? Something like that. It's at least that.
Something close to that.
Yeah.
So I referred to you for a second ago as Miss Amy. Where did Miss Amy come from?
Yeah, well, Miss Amy came from that there were two of us who worked at the library. I was part-time under another Amy, and first we were Amy squared because we were both there. And then when my co-partner at the library left, then I didn't want to be Mrs. Hand. So I became Miss Amy, and now everyone knows who Miss Amy is. Sometimes people will come up to me and I have no idea who they are, but they know who I am. So, and I've been there 25 years. So
cool. Yeah, and sometimes I get referred to as Mr. Miss Amy around town. I always joke that I've been called worse, so I can deal with that.
Yeah.
So today we're really here to talk about adventure, and we've had plenty.
Yeah, we have.
Off the cuff, and I haven't prepped her for any of this. Off the cuff, an adventure we've been on ourselves, family, whatever. Just throw something out there and start talking about an adventure that we've been on.
One that probably no one would ever guess is that we used to own a race car. And we raced for a long time, or you raced, and I was part of the pit crew and the cheering squad and kept track of the stats, and it was an every weekend thing and into the week, because we had to work on the race car when something would go wrong or you were tweaking it. So that was a pre-kids adventure, and that was a lot of fun. And a whole different crew of people, that we got to spend time with every week at the different tracks that we went to, and Unity Raceway was the number one track that we went to at that time.
I I never thought you were gonna throw that one out there.
I even got to drive once.
Yeah.
Not very fast.
I was scared she was gonna wreck my car. That's for sure.
It was a powder puff.
So I got into racing. A friend of mine was racing, and I decided to give it a try. And another gentleman, a friend, he decided to help out. And I really only drove the car for 1 year, and decided that I preferred working on them than driving them. And I got a chance to get behind the wheel many times after that. But that was definitely some sort of adventure that we could enjoy for. I enjoyed it for many years, not just driving, but working on other people's pit crews and the teamwork that came out of that, where you'd go to fix something and I'd be underneath the car I'd need a certain wrench, and another person on the team would just hand me the wrench I needed without even having to ask about it.
Yeah.
That's cool. How about another one? Throw out something else you'd think of.
Another adventure. When we drove to Alabama with your mother and your sister to meet your grandmother on your dad's side. And your mother she was a very nervous driver on the back roads and the side roads and everything. And you finally said, Mom, get out of the car and let me drive.
Yeah,
and
Skyline
we were in our 20s. That was when we first got married.
Yeah, so. Skyline Drive, heading south from
beautiful though.
Heading south from New England to Alabama. We were heading down to see Grammy from Alabama.
Yeah.
And
I was pregnant with Steven.
Those roads were straight and then 90-degree corner. Straight, 90-degree corner. And Mom was going fast and then hitting the brakes and going fast. She was making herself sick.
Herself and everybody else sick.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you've sat back while I've started, and I shouldn't say sat back, but you've been a major support mechanism and always supported me with it, but started several businesses over the years. What's that been like? Watching that, supporting that?
Yeah, I have helped clean out many buildings and set up offices over the years, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 different times, and watched you build your companies and grow them and sell it and change it and we went from not paying ourselves for a while and making sure you always made sure that your employees were paid when you have 30-day whatever adventure.
Well, that was back in 2008, 2009 when the whole economy fell apart, and my business partners and I went 13 weeks without a paycheck. We wrote our checks and just stuffed them in the drawer. But all our employees got paid. We didn't lay anybody else off, and we eventually cashed our checks.
Y2K.
Well, that was 2008 and 2009. Okay. It was way after Y2K. That's for sure. Yeah,
but and I've watched you grow your business and sell it, and then see where people and your employees and your clients really respected you and your efforts and I can't think of the word, but just who you are, excuse me, and how you go forward with presenting yourself and your business and
cool.
So
cool. Yeah, so you mentioned when I sold the business back in 2013, and that's where kind of the first ideas of Hand Adventures came about. Really 2014, 2015. lots of travel with the boys. They were getting out of 2013. One of them was getting out of school. The other one was going to be graduating in a few years. And we coined the phrase for Hand Adventures of helping people get out and experience the outdoors. And that was where Hand Adventures first kind of came about. And it was really about sharing some of our trips. Talk a little bit about some of those. I mean, we did 2 big trips down south for both the
With
boys.
the boys, yeah. They both wanted to go to Florida for their graduation. But, when you typically think, oh, you're going to Florida, you're going to go to Disney. Nah, not our boys. Our boys wanted to go fishing. They wanted to be in Boca Grande. They wanted to be on the water, in the water, just outside and adventuring. They wanted nothing to do with the crazy, busy chaos of parks or anything like that just isn't who they were and not how we raised them. They enjoy the outdoors, and they still do.
Cool, yeah. I think of Boca Grande, Caya Costa, which is an island right off of Boca, or Gasparilla Island as it's called. I remember one of the years we were over in Destin, Florida. A beautiful area, nothing wrong with it, but we were sitting on the water at a busy spot, and the boys looked at us like, when are we getting to Boca?
Yeah, because we always went in the off season.
Yeah.
Because we're not into that kind of busy, crazy. We like the off-road, back.
Fishing, swimming.
Yeah.
Hog hunting on one of those trips. All kinds of neat adventures. So in recent years, we've shifted gears a little bit. You mentioned we're sitting here in the farmhouse. We bought this in 2017. We moved in full time in 2021. But what's it mean to you to be here?
To be in this farmhouse? Yeah. Well, I am 4th generation. I would say 4th generation to live here. My great grandfather and grandmother were, they were gardeners as far as like providing for their family, and they were hunters to also provide for their family on the acreage, and they worked the farm. And then my grandmother moved here after my grandfather passed away, and she gardened and continued to garden and provide for herself and donate to the church and that. And then my parents, we've always been a part of it, but they never lived here. We're the 4th generation, but I'm only the 3rd generation to work the farm. And you and I decided that we were around 50, and did we really want to take this on? And we both looked at each other, and we had lived here back in the 90s when we first got married to help save money. My grandma let us do that.
So I'm gonna go on that. Okay. There. We lived here 89 to 92 before we put our first house together.
Yep.
But I remember the last day we moved out of here, we looked at each other and said, maybe we'll live here someday. Maybe we'll be back here someday.
Wouldn't it be nice?
And lo and behold, many years later, we moved out in 92, and we moved back in really 2021, but bought it in 2017.
Yeah.
So we've got almost 120 acres. We've got a pond. We've got blueberry fields.
80 plus acres of woods.
Yeah. So
forest.
Talk a little bit. I mean, blueberry farming, that's an adventure. Talk a little bit about blueberry farming and what we're doing.
So we, although my great grandparents farmed and harvested the blueberries, my grandmother had someone managing the fields outside of the family. And so nobody within the family was doing anything. I mean, we always went and picked blueberries. You know, we'd pick a quart or two for pie or for jam or something like that. But we never, I never raked blueberries. My mother did.
Your mother and I raked for the same person. I
Yeah.
raked for a man named Lehman Oxton when I was 13 years old, and
My mother
my
did when
mother-in-law
she
did when she was
a
kid.
teenager. Yeah. Yeah.
The man was 89 years old when I met him.
Yeah. So, but we decided that we would take on the blueberry fields, and that definitely has been adventure. It still is, and we learned to rake blueberries. We learned nobody else wants to rake blueberries.
That's for sure.
And blueberry raking used to be every kid in Maine's first job. You know, you either raked blueberries or you were up north in a rustic and you picked potatoes. And then during the pandemic, we learned to build an entire building from scratch. We built
You thought I was crazy.
I did, because I thought there's no way we can do this. We've never done this before. So that was definitely an adventure.
The pandemic hit in March, and the second week of April, we started breaking ground. We built basically a 28 by 28 building to house two Winnower sorters.
Antique Winnower sorters.
And people that know us are like, how did you figure out how to build a building? It's like, it's an adventure. We're going to figure it out. We'll go find YouTube. We'll talk to friends.
Yep.
But it's a gorgeous little building now. It's got a walk-in cooler. It
works for us.
Yeah.
It really does. And I mean, everything, you know, there were a lot of things, and my grandmother had said, are you sure you want to buy the farm? It's got a lot of things that need work. And we knew that. And we also knew that I had confidence that Steve would figure out what we needed to do, and that I would be along to do it too. And we converted a shed that connects the barn and the house into a working summer kitchen, and we've renovated, we've painted,
Heck, we hauled a building down the road.
Yeah, we did.
My old office from our first property.
Now my studio, my art studio.
We hired it. We hired a guy to move it down, and I walked out the front door the day it was supposed to arrive, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, I look up, and there's this dump truck coming down the road with a building taking up the entire roadway as they delivered it here.
Yeah, that was my birthday present that year.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Cool. We could go on and on with all kinds of adventures. There's one that's been real interesting for me. I talk about it to some folks as my most challenging adventure. What's that?
Dancing.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I did an event, a fundraiser in our local town, and started dancing again, but I had never done partner dancing. And I was taking classes, and then he started taking classes.
She didn't know.
I did not know.
I went and took some lessons.
Because this was Mr. Two Left Feet, no musicality. Sidebar, he had always, for 17 plus years, played hockey and coached our boys. That's definitely another adventure. Mm-hmm. But you've had knee problems since you were in high school, and that was an issue. And becoming more of an issue. And when the doctor said, you really should not be skating anymore, you were pretty crushed because you really enjoyed it. You were even coaching after our boys or off the ice.
Yeah.
And we were taking dance classes and had become friends with some really incredible professional dance teachers. And one, Angel Figueroa, said, "You have all the tools. You know what you're doing. You should teach."
Yeah, he made it clear you're not a pro. You never will be.
Nope.
But
and we're not.
Take all those years of coaching and everything and put it to use.
And you're a good teacher.
So I joke that it's the hardest thing I've ever learned, hardest thing I've ever done. When you talk about stepping out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
That was definitely it.
Yeah. And early on, I knew more than you did. And it was easier and frustrating for me. And now you have so much in your toolbox now that I don't have a clue often what's coming, and I have to pay more attention.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. And
Cool.
I love dancing with you.
Yes. So as you look at what's next, we've got the farm. There's nothing going to stop here. We got lots of projects to do.
Yeah, and 3 new fields.
What we decided last year that we really wanted to see the country. I bookmarked 49 of 50 states last year. Most of it was work related over the last 30 years of getting around the country for client sites. And Alaska was last year. What did you think of
Yeah.
Alaska?
It was beautiful. I wouldn't mind going back and seeing some other areas of Alaska. It was too short when we were in the different places. We had one day that we really got to spend almost the entire day there. That was Juneau, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was because the cruise we were on couldn't go in because of fog and icebergs that were floating. So that we got into a different port earlier than we were supposed to. But yeah, I would definitely like to go back. And I have to say, my fuel for adventure, like across country or seeing more of the country, came because we helped our youngest son move to Utah a few years ago for his own adventure. And I saw country and places that I had never seen before. We got to go to Laramie, Wyoming, and saw, just the canyons and rocks. And it was like, wow, maybe where we live looks like that underneath, but we don't see all that rock because it's covered with woods and forest and everything. And it was so awe-striking to me and beautiful, and I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, so last year we did a trip to an Overland Expo East.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Met a lot of people and saw how other people are outfitting their rigs, and we've got our truck all rigged up. Got a few more things to still do, but
that got us excited about that form of adventure and doing it together.
Right. I think part of what we're talking about here in this whole podcast series is don't ever stop finding the next adventure. And we're definitely not, and we still got some other adventures we're still on, but getting out around the country and seeing what it has to offer. And our goal is to get remote, not just all the touristy places that people end up or whatever. The truck's rigged so we can camp 10 miles in off a back road. And I've done that for many years here in Maine, up in the North Maine woods. We've joked for years that there's a statistic, I don't know where it comes from, but like 85% of people in our country haven't been 10 miles off a paved road.
I believe it.
Actually, that was 5 miles. And if you increase it to 10 miles, it's like 92% of people have not been 10 miles off a paved road. I certainly can say, and if you've spent a lot of time out west, you certainly can find those opportunities. But a lot of people just don't. And so we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So adventure's definitely been part of how we do things. How do you, if you had to think about it from a perspective, how has it shaped our lives? How has adventure shaped our lives, or how should other people think about it shaping their lives?
Well, I think for us, so we have been married 36 years. This year is 37 in July. And we were together a year before that. And we haven't even touched on a lot of the adventures that we've had. But I think adventure and change and growth and like finding new things to do together has helped us be healthy together as a relationship. You know, we can't, when we get stagnant, then it's time to find something fun and new to do.
Absolutely.
So that has definitely defined our relationship too. So
there's a question I'm going to be asking every guest. You're the first guest.
I know I am.
But there's going to be a question we're asking every guest, and that's how do you define adventure at this stage of your life?
How do I define adventure? Figures you'd ask me that.
Yeah.
I guess adventure for me is partly finding something new to do, something I haven't done. And it doesn't have to be like I'm an artist, so I do a lot of different art challenges because I want to push myself to learn something new or get better at watercolors or carving. Or this morning I just carved a selfie, and the first one I did not look anything like me, and I tried again. So I think that for me, it is really about finding or choosing to do something new and different, no matter what it is.
Cool. So we could go on and on and on. I mean, we're 39 years together, 37 years in July this year, married. We've definitely had lots of adventures we could dig into for hours on end. But we'll wrap up today, and Miss Amy will definitely be a fixture in the future, or be on some other episodes. Our next episode, you're going to meet Scott. Scott has been my best friend for many years, and the topic is going to be when the adventure gets tough. So it might not be that Scott and I have had tough adventures. Maybe we have, but that's what we'll be digging into next week. And so until next time, remember to get out there and live your adventure. Thanks for listening to the Live Your Adventure podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button, follow us on social media at Hand Adventures, and for your next adventure, define it, pursue it, and live it.